Okay, so you did the work, you made the prayers, you worked on yourself, you put yourself out there, and yet it seems like everyone else is getting their prayers answered but you. So what is it exactly? What are you doing wrong? Why does it seem like your prayers are not getting answered? So in this video, I'm gonna dive deep into answering this question, and I guarantee you by the end of this video, you are going to get so much trust and clarity that everything that is meant for you will find you. Okay, so let's jump right into it. I first want to talk about the concept of divine timing. I want you to understand that a delayal is not a denial. It is development. And what I mean by that is just because it may seem like your prayers are not getting answered right now in this moment does not mean that they're not going to be answered in the future. You just may not be the person right now that it takes to handle these blessings. How many times do we hear on the news of those people who win the lottery ticket but then lose it so quickly? It's because they haven't spent years of their life training what it's like to handle money, to be financially responsible. And so as soon as they get all these blessings in their life, they can't hold on to it for too long. It's not sustainable. So imagine those people who train for years and years to climb Mount Everest, right? Like that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of training. Imagine if someone randomly took you and dropped you off at like the peak of Mount Everest. You're going to suffocate, right? Like you're not ready for that because you haven't been doing the training. So understanding that just because your prayers are not being answered right now doesn't mean you're not going to get them in the future. It just means that right now is the developmental phase. You need to go through what it takes to become that person that's going to be able to sustain and handle these blessings. We live in a world right now where it's all about instant gratification. It's all about making money quick, overnight success, like everything happens very fast paced. But that's not how the real world works. The real world is very slow. And what's not shown behind the scenes is all the work, all the time, all the failures it takes to actually get what you want in this life. A big sign of intelligence is delayed gratification, is lengthening the time between a behavior and the reward. Okay, so for example, if you're training an animal, like let's say you're trying to teach your cat to walk on a leash, you have to make sure you give that treat immediately. Otherwise, if you give it like a few hours later, the cat's not gonna know to associate its behavior with that reward. Okay, because too much time has passed. The cat's already forgotten about its behavior. It's thinking about other things. But human beings, obviously, we're way more intelligent. So we know that we could be doing something, we could be putting in the work today, but the reward may not come tomorrow. It may not even come after several months or even years. It may not even come in this lifetime. It could happen in the afterlife. And having that trust and understanding that the reward may come years and years later, but that it will come eventually is a sign of very high intelligence. So I don't want you to succumb to instant gratification. Understand that anything good you do will be rewarded, your prayers will be answered, but it just may take time, and trust in divine timing. There are reasons far beyond that you can understand why the things you want may not be happening immediately right now. Things need time to cook. There's so many things that are happening behind the scenes. The answer to your prayers may not come in the package that you're expecting. For example, a lot of us make prayers to find true love in this world. And you may be imagining this one person in one form, but they may present in a completely different form in this life. So you may imagine them looking a certain way or being from a specific background or culture or even a certain age, and they may present differently. And so be open-minded and understand that the means of getting what you want may not match up with how the Creator wants it to be for us. And that brings me to the next point, that there will be events in our life that we may perceive as bad things, like a divorce, a job loss. We may perceive these as bad things, but in reality, these are huge blessings in disguise. And I've really learned not to trust my perception of reality. And I'm gonna spit out some facts for you guys that are gonna blow your mind. I just found a video explaining this. So, of all the light that exists in the universe, humans are only capable of seeing 0.0035% of it. Of all the light in the universe, we are only capable of seeing that visible light. And those wavelengths are between 380 to 750 nanometers. That's it. Now I'm going to put it into perspective. Picture a line drawn from LA all the way to New York City, okay? Imagine that line. It's crossing the span of the United States. To put it into perspective, the amount of light we can see is the size of a peanut. That's how little we can see. So our perception is so limited. It's like looking through a small keyhole and we have no idea of what's going on behind the scenes. And I want you to trust that everything that's going on behind the scenes is for the betterment for you in one shape or another. I know that's so hard to fathom because there are truly so horrible things that go on in this world, but everything is happening for a reason, and everything is happening to strengthen you. And understand that no is also an answer to your prayer. So not all your prayers are going to be answered in the form of yes. They will be answered, but you may not get exactly everything you ask for. And that's okay. Because like I was just saying earlier, we know nothing. We have no idea how one thing we may think we want could lead us down a completely different path that was actually so bad for us. And in the end, we were being protected from something. When you ask for something, you will be tested before you get it. And like I was saying earlier, you need to be prepared. You need to be built so that you are in that state to receive this blessing. So you may face a lot of obstacles, a lot of adversity that you have to go through first, that's going to strengthen you and mold you so that you are capable of receiving this blessing in the first place. How I know that good things are around the corner is if my life is falling apart. If I'm facing a lot of hardship, a lot of difficulty, if I'm really being tested, I know that something great is about to come, that there is about to be a huge upgrade in my life. There's going to be a huge transformation. For those of you who are going through a lot of difficulty, a lot of hardship, I want you to understand that this means that a huge transformation is about to happen. A huge upgrade is about to happen. And there's going to be so many blessings coming around because you are going through all this for a reason. Every single thing in this world happens for a reason. You are going through this difficulty. You are going through this hardship so you can be a better version of yourself, so you can be closer to your creator and really build a lot of faith. So if you want love, you may be tested with a series of bad relationships, with divorce, so that you know what it's truly like to be alone. So eventually you will get rid of the fear of being alone, and that will make you show up as the best version of yourself in a future relationship. A lot of times our prayers do get answered, but we ourselves don't accept the blessings. I'm gonna be honest, sometimes we're all talk. We claim we want something so badly, and some of us even spend years and years wishing for something. But the moment it actually comes into fruition in real life, we push it away. And I like to call this kind of behavior self-sabotage. And obviously we're not doing it on purpose. It's because we have a lot of subconscious programming that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy, we're not deserving. We're not deserving of love. We're not deserving of wealth. We're not deserving of health. Let's say you really want financial freedom and you're sick and tired of your 9-to-5 job. You want to be your own boss. You want to create a business. Now, one day your job security is actually being threatened and you may lose your job. What do most of us do? We cling on to it because it's so stable, it's so familiar, it's so secure. Whereas deep down inside, we know we don't even want this job, but it's all we know. And we're so scared of the unfamiliar because what if it doesn't work out for us? Same thing goes for a relationship. Let's say you're in a really bad relationship and you're secretly wishing for it to end. And let's say it finally does end. Your partner wants to leave you. And what do? You cling on to them. You beg for them to stay because you're so scared of the unfamiliarity of being alone. Even though you spent so much time praying and praying for true love, when it's finally being given to you, maybe not in the exact form you asked, you're rejecting it. So understand that everything that's happening in your life is for the betterment for you. Are we even making space in our hearts to receive these blessings in the first place? A lot of us keep asking for the love of our life, a true soulmate, but how many of us are still clinging on to the past? How many of us are still thinking about past relationships, or how many times we've been wrong and holding on to all this resentment and anger? That takes up a lot of energy. It really does. And it leaves very, very little room and space for anything new to enter into your life. Understand that if you are asking for all these new things in your life, you have to let go of the old. And that's the only way you're going to be able to mentally and energetically create space for new things to enter into your life. And the only way that you're going to guarantee that is if you stop focusing on the past. A lot of us keep ruminating over and over about past events. Imagine yourself driving a car and all you're doing is focusing on the rear view mirror. How are you going to see what's ahead of you? You're going to get into an accident. All you keep looking at is the past. So let go of the past so that you can make room for future blessings. One of the best ways to guarantee blessings in your life and prayers being answered is by being in a state that you can receive these in the first place. And the best way to do that is by practicing gratitude. So many of us underestimate the power of gratitude. Gratitude is the answer to probably 99.9% of our problems, because what it does is it actually shifts the attention of our brain to focus on all the good in our life, and our thoughts create our reality. So if you keep focusing on all the blessings you have in your life, you're going to naturally keep attracting more and more. It's just how it works, and it's scientifically proven. Let's say there's like this car you really want. You do some research on it, you're looking at the color, the details, and literally the next day you see 3 of those cars. Why does that always seem to happen? It's because your brain now knows what to focus on. So wherever your attention goes is exactly what you're going to attract. So the very question, why are my prayers not being answered, is the problem, because you are automatically in a state of lack. You're focusing on everything that isn't working out for you while ignoring millions and millions of things that are working in your favor. The fact that you can watch this video, you can hear me, you can see me, you can clearly afford technology. There's so many things you can start focusing on, and naturally that's where you'll start to get the blessings. Now, I also want to answer the question, why does it seem like everyone else's prayers are getting answered but mine? Why does it seem like quote unquote bad people are getting all these blessings in their life? There are billionaires out there who are so unethical, and yet they're getting all this success and fame and money. How's that possible? That doesn't make any sense. Where are my rewards? First and foremost, if we are playing the comparison game, make sure you're comparing equally down as you're comparing up. A lot of us tend to look at people who have more than us, but fail to compare ourselves to those who would wish to be in our place. There are so many people who would give anything they can to be where we are right now. So understand that there's always going to be someone out there who has more than you. And it's not a matter of having it all, it's a matter of being grateful for what you have. And secondly, these are all worldly things. At the end of the day, they don't matter. Our Creator doesn't care about Instagram followers and how much wealth you have. It's how much love you have. It's how much faith you have in your heart. That is the true measure of success, not only in this life, but in the hereafter. When you go to the grave, you're not taking all these material things with you, but what you are taking with you is your soul. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive for success in this world too. Obviously, money is amazing. It helps us with so many things. Definitely go after it. I don't want you to get yourself trapped in thinking that, well, why does it seem like all these like corrupt and bad people seem to have a lot of money? How's that possible? And all these like good-hearted people may not get monetary success. Well, it's because our rewards are coming in the afterlife, and you just have to have really strong faith in that. Understand that right now, you are living in the answered prayers of your past version. If your past version were to look at you right now, how happy would they be? So your prayers are being answered. What if I were to tell you your prayers are going to be answered? A future version of yourself has the things that you want so badly. How are you going to act now? How are you going to think? You're probably going to be a lot more light. You might have a lot more love in you. more gratitude. I want you to get into those states because that's exactly what's going to attract everything you want in your life. I'm going to end off this video by reminding you that God doesn't put this desire in us, this calling in us without wanting to fulfill it. He wants us to be successful. Sometimes it can seem when we're praying, our prayers are just going out into the void and no one's listening. But trust that your prayers are being received. The message is being received. Now it's up to you to do the work and leave the outcomes to Him. So I hope this video helps. If you like these kinds of videos, definitely make sure to subscribe. I love talking about these topics. I could talk about this for hours and hours. I'm definitely going to make lots of videos that are in the similar style. So definitely make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.